If you look at the American commercial car market, you will notice that Ford is taking a huge portion of the sales number. Ford has been in the car industry for a hefty 116 years, making changes in the market with their lineup of endless number of cars that we use as a daily, weekend, or for track. Today, we would like to introduce you top 10 facts that you probably didn't know about Ford.
Look at the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done.
Ford Bigfoot was a famous monster truck that originally built in 1975 that was a spark for monster truck rallies that made people seek to watch Bigfoot races and car crashes. The original truck was built in a Ford F-Series truck body from 1984 to 2007. Ford and Firestone co-sponsored this truck as a fun form of advertising and marketing for their popular brands.
One of the most iconic cars Ford has is the Mustang. It's still being debated to this day as how the Mustang got its name. This wasn't the only name that was in the running for the name of this model car. Cougar and Torino was also possibilities, but those names would be used for other Ford models. Mustang turned out to be the right choice because it's the car that's loved by many and respected by most.
The moving assembly was arguably one of the most important things that Henry Ford ever did to the world. It was a revolutionary innovation that changed the way that the factory were organized. It allowed for a major increase in productivity. For example, it cut down the time it took to build a car from over 700 minutes to just over 90 minutes. That led to a major boost in the amount of the profit that the company could earn. It was an example of how Henry Ford was involved in every part of the process of building the car that bear his name. It probably only seemed like a good decision at the time, but it turned out into an innovation that changed the world.
All the time, Ford was trying to expand the company. Tried to buy the Ferrari brand in the early to mid 1960s before the deal fell through. At one point or another, the Ford Motor Company has stakes in Volvo, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Mercury, and even Aston Martin. Today, the only brand that's owned by Ford is Lincoln. Henry was the kind of man that wanted to be the biggest name in the automobiles and actively tried to expand his reach in the industry.
During World War I, the Ford Motor Company branched off into building airplanes. There were numerous things that sparked this foray for Henry Ford. He had the love for anything mechanical and wanted to do his part to help out the United States military during the war. Ford was the type of man who was always into inventing and expanding his reach. Later on, the United States Centennial of Flight Commission recognized Ford as a pioneer in aviation. He shut down the operation in 1933 because of the lack of success, but at least he couldn't say he didn't try.
Henry Ford was aware of this long before anyone else. In the 1930s, some Ford factories were burning human and animal waste as fuel. He was using biofuels before anyone knew what a biofuel even was. He may not have known it then, but he was a man who was wise beyond the time in which he lived. He was setting an example that no one recognized, and it's too bad that no one else picked up on what he was doing.
The history of Ford shows how Ford was truly wanting to produce a mid-engine car to the world. At first, they used the expertise of a British car company that made mid-engine race cars called Lola. They borrowed the Lola MK6 GT to make a monster of a race car that destroyed Le Mans endurance races at the 60s, called Ford GT40. Since that, great models have been produced such as Ford GT70 as a supercar, Mustang Mach-2, and GT90 as a concept. GT40 was later remastered by the reveal of the 2005 Ford GT, which was one of the best supercar money can buy back in the days. Even these days, it's still a great car with the margins of today's supercars, but that wasn't the end, as Ford has given us another track monster in 2016 with a V6 that no one believed in until seeing it killing the tracks.
Post-World War II, the car market in the USA, automotive manufacturers capitalized on the expertise that they have gained from manufacturing military trucks during the war and introduced trucks with the design offering that could appeal to a range of customers. The F-Series was an instant success. The F-Series have been the best-selling pickup truck in the USA since 1977 and the best-selling vehicle since 1986. Every 30 seconds there is an F-Series getting sold, and on the other side, Ford is making another 88 brand new F-Series truck every single hour. It is estimated that every F-150 earns the company an operating profit of $10,000 and generates around 90% of Ford's global profits. This is just how important the F-Series is to Ford's lineup.
Ford has been in the police fleet since the beginnings of the 90s till today and is still introducing cars to the fleet. The latest of them is the new 2020 Ford Police Interceptor, ranging from a hybrid powertrain 3.3-liter V6 that produces 318 horsepower and capable to reach a top speed of 137 miles per hour, to a 3-liter turbocharged EcoBoost V6 that produces 400 horsepower and capable to reach a top speed of 149 miles per hour. All are mated to a 10-speed automatic, and all-wheel drive is a standard that make it the fastest police car in the fleet right now.
The 24 Hours of Le Mans is the oldest active sports car race in the world, and it's held just outside of Le Mans, France. The first race was held in 1923, and it became the race that would let the world know which sports car was the best in the world. From 1960 to 1965, Ferrari has been the car to beat in that race. Ford wanted to have a slice for the win. They wanted to buy the Ferrari company in order to reinforce their racing techniques and so their achievements, but Ferrari disagreed. So, 1966, the Ford Motor Company entered the race with the Ford GT40 and won. It broke the Ferrari's 6-year win streak, and Ford won for 4 consecutive years, from 1966 to 1970. This was a great redemption for Ford.
Congratulations, you have reached the end of the video. If you like the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment and consider subscribing to our channel. That really helps us make more videos. And until the next one, peace.